everybody. It's Kelly Russell, the Rock Your Joy Coach. Thanks so much for joining me today. Welcome to my channel. So, my topic for this week is lesson 196 from the Workbook of A Course in Miracles. It can be but myself I crucify. And I love this lesson because it's just so illustrative of the idea that the Course in Miracles presents that we cannot attack someone else without attacking ourselves. We can't hold another person in judgment or condemnation or grievance or blame without holding ourselves there too. And so, how does that work? Well, so when we think of the concept of A Course in Miracles is that we are all one Son of God. We are all, the Course in Miracles refers to us as the Sonship. So all one, which would make sense then that you can't attack some part of the Son of God without attacking all of the Son of God. It's not parceled out like that. And so what happens when we attack another person, and I wanted to talk about this today because I heard a client of mine recently who was holding someone in her life in judgment, saying that she wasn't going to forgive him and she didn't want to let him off that because she didn't want to let him off the hook, and she didn't want him to think that it was okay, and she basically wanted him to suffer. And what I told her is that, the problem with that is that you then are holding yourself in suffering. So there's just no way that you can get around that. You can't separate the two because we're not separate. We're not separate from our brothers. And so the minute we condemn another, the minute we attack another, the minute we want another person to pay, we want to punish them, we want them to feel bad and guilty, we are literally giving ourselves that same sentence. So I want you to have this visual that it's like this lesson talks about. It can be but myself I crucify, right? So that when you're tempted to have a judgment about another person, to trash talk somebody, to blame them, judge them, criticize them, say what an a-hole they are, or how they done you wrong, or whatever it is, for you to picture that you're literally nailing a nail right into your hand on the cross. Another nail. Every judgment is a nail. Every condemnation is another thorn in your side, or adding another thorn to the crown on your head. And so what's going to happen? How does that show up in the world? So that might seem a little abstract, or, sound a little, kind of nebulous or whatever. No, the way that it shows up in the world is that you will experience something painful. That's how we do in the world. When we project our attack thoughts onto some part of ourselves, which is a brother in the world, just another aspect of ourselves, then it comes back to us. And it comes back to us in some form that is going to be painful, because what we projected in the first place was, if you think of it like a poison arrow, okay? When we're shooting poison arrows at people, what is going to come back to us? It's literally like that arrow turns around in midair and comes back to us and stabs us in some way. And it's going to stab us in the variety of ways that we have set up in this world of form to punish ourselves with. I mean, that's what this world of form is in the first place, this world of duality. It is literally a punishment that we have made up in our minds, that we have constructed with our amazing creative ability. We have constructed this made up world to punish ourselves with, because we believe that we separated from God and that we rejected God. And so this is literally, our big opus punishment here. But the little ways that we do it to ourselves when we send attack thoughts to our brothers in any way, which is literally what's an attack thought? It's anything other than a loving thought. That's an attack thought. And people might say, well, I'm just being honest. I mean, I'm just telling it like it is. I'm just calling it like I see it. No, it's an attack thought. If it's anything other than loving, because, the truth of your brother is that your brother is the son of God as you are, part of the sonship, holy, perfect, whole, without any kind of, without any kind of error. That's the truth of who you are, and that's the truth of who they are. They're an extension of God. So seeing them in any other way is just a mistake. But unfortunately, the way that this world works is that when we project that, because we're coming from that place of unconscious guilt, so we project that guilt onto another person so that we can see it in them instead of seeing it in ourselves. Not that we're guilty, but we think we are. Then those poison arrows are going to come back to us in the form of illness, in the form of financial difficulties, in relational conflicts. Maybe we get fired from our job, or we have various kinds of just pain that we go through in the world. Things don't work out, things that we try to do, we get into accidents, we have an injury. I mean, there's countless ways. Basically, every single thing that you can think of that goes on in your life that feels negative to you is a poison arrow. And I know that this can sound like I'm blaming you for everything that's wrong in your life. And if you hear it like that, you're hearing it with the ego's interpretation, because there isn't anything blaming about this. It's about trying to explain how we crucify ourselves. And I do it too. I've had relationships where I just thought everything was the other person's fault. People in my life that had addictions. I've had difficulty with jobs. I've had financial challenges. I've had weight and body issues. All kinds of stuff. So, we're all part of this. I'm not talking about you as if you're different from me. We're all one, so we all experience this. But what I will tell you that what I've learned and why I'm not experiencing those things anywhere near to the degree that I once did is because I've been getting this more and more, that it is but myself that I crucify. And so if I continue to participate in that pastime of finding other people at fault and to blame and making them responsible for my unhappiness, and making them wrong and holding them in judgment and in condemnation and criticism, then I am going to experience something painful as that poison arrow that comes back, or that nail that goes into my hand and just keep myself hanging up there on the cross and never let myself down, because I'm not taking my brother down off the cross. And so that is the way that we stop crucifying ourselves, is we cut our brother down off that cross. We stop holding them responsible. We stop blaming them, judging them, thinking that they have anything to do with our unhappiness or that they've done anything to us. Yes, in the world of form, in the dream, this mass hallucination that we are having, they did whatever they did. We did whatever we did, and the stuff went down. Whatever went on is what went on. But it's like it's a movie that we're watching, and it's being projected. Our unconscious guilt is being projected onto the screen like it's a movie. And so for us to be blaming our brother and holding them responsible is like blaming the characters on the movie screen, the actors on the movie screen. There's not even anything there. It's a projection. If you go up to the movie screen and be like, well, I'm going to stab you in the heart, and you like plunge a knife into the person, all you're going to do is you're just going to slash the screen. So that's the way to think of it. That's another metaphor to think of it, is that we are the projector, and what we see going on in the world is just the screen. And the where we need to change things is on the level of our mind, just like putting a different movie into the projector. We need to put a different movie into our mind if we want to see something different. And so what we do then, if we want to stop experiencing painful circumstances in the world and challenges, is we put a different movie in the projector of our minds, so that we can stop holding our brothers in condemnation and judgment, and we can stop crucifying them, and therefore we can stop crucifying ourselves. There's a beautiful part in the first paragraph in this lesson. It's actually part of paragraph 1. It says, it can be myself that I crucify. When this is firmly understood and kept in full awareness, you will not attempt to harm yourself, nor make your body slave to vengeance. You will not attack yourself, and you will realize that to attack another is but to attack yourself. You will be free of the insane belief that to attack a brother saves yourself. And you will understand his safety is your own, and in his healing, you are healed. So everything that we do to a brother is for us. If we attack a brother, we're attacking ourselves. And we will experience the results and the consequences of that attack in some way in the world, in some of those ways that I already talked about, and in the ways that I haven't even mentioned, but that you may, when you examine your own life and see what feels like going wrong in it, you can look at it as, okay, these are the ways in which I have been crucifying myself with my attack thoughts. And so all you have to do to get that to go in another direction, to cut yourself and your down off the cross, is to cut your brother down off the cross. And so to go into every area of your life where you have an unforgiveness, every area where you are holding somebody in judgment, in condemnation, in blame, responsibility, in any way, and forgive them, and forgiving them in the way that the Course in Miracles teaches us to forgive. It is not the world's forgiveness. Somebody said to me the other day, well, I can forgive, but I'm just never going to forget. Okay, so if you're gonna do that, that's the world's version of forgiveness, which is basically making the person wrong, judging them, making the dream real, and then holding them in guilt, and then pardoning them by being the bigger person or some shit. I don't even know what that really does, but somehow we call that forgiveness. It's not forgiveness. It's just another attack. So true forgiveness, according to the Course in Miracles, is to see your brother as innocent, to see your brother as the true reflection of the love of God, just like you are. And that anything that you are holding him responsible for is something that happened on the screen. It's your movie. It's your projection. You are the one that is projecting the unconscious guilt that's in your mind, believing you separated from God, onto the screen, and then seeing it play out by these actors in your life as this movie of victimization. And so when you make the decision to take the responsibility for that, and you choose to cut your brother down off the cross by practicing this forgiveness, then you cut yourself down off the cross as well and stop crucifying yourself, and your life will just get better. In all of those areas, it will get better, because you're not projecting the unconscious guilt and making that your story anymore. And that's what has happened to me. And it doesn't mean that I don't still have challenges and difficult circumstances that I end up making happen in my life with my own unconscious guilt, and when I still you know, blame people or hold them responsible, or, you know, get pissed off at them, or think that they're responsible for my unhappiness, or that they somehow, you know, did something to me. But it comes back to me, and I can see it. I can see it happening. And it's not worth it to me. It's not worth it to me to keep somebody else hanging up on the cross, and then for me to keep experiencing the negative consequences of it. So I'd rather just take us down, both down off the cross, and stop crucifying them so I can stop crucifying myself. So, lesson 196, it can be but myself I crucify. And the forgiveness process is remembering that I am making this up in my mind. I'm forgiving this person for what they didn't do. I'm remembering that this is just a projection, and I am acknowledging that. I am asking spirit to help me see this differently. I'm remembering that I'm just making a movie here, and I'm asking for my mind to be healed and for my thoughts to be changed, and then I just release it. And that's the forgiveness process. And it's, you know, you make a habit out of it, and the more that you do it, the more that you will see the results of it, and your life will just turn to the miraculous. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so glad to have you here. I just love being able to connect with you in this way. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already and you like this video, please click the button below and subscribe. And also, below there is a link to a 2-hour workshop that I did called From Blocking Joy to Rocking Joy, How to Be Happy No Matter What, which talks more about some of the stuff that I'm talking about here, and some of the practices that you can employ to help yourself have a miraculous life. And if you've never considered spiritual life coaching based on A Course in Miracles, I do one-on-one coaching, and that can be just a wonderful expression of self-love that you give yourself, and yet another way that you can stop crucifying yourself. So if you've ever thought about it, you book a free discovery call with me by clicking the link below, and you can have an experience of what coaching with me is like. So I look forward to seeing you next week.